And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is a 3-round middleweight attraction. And introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Muay Thai fighter standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in officially 185 and 1/2 pounds. He brings 9 victories and 7 defeats into the cage tonight. Fighting out of Paris, France, here is Boubacar Balde. And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, a striker standing 5 feet 8 1/2 inches tall. He weighed in also 185 and 1/2 pounds and brings 13 victories, 8 defeats, and 1 no contest into tonight's fight. Fighting out of South London, England, here is Jake Bostwick. Referee in charge of the action is Rich Mitchell.
3 5-minute rounds in the Cage Warriors middleweight division. Rich Mitchell about to get this one underway. Co-main event time.
Ready? Let's go.
Brad Wharton and Josh Palmer calling the action. Jake Bostwick in the black shorts, Boubacar Balde in the blue.
As you mentioned, Brad, Bostwick has fought at welter. He'll probably be back at welter pretty soon after this fight. Right now, this is at middleweight, and one thing you can say about Boubacar Balde, he's a legitimate frame for a middleweight.
Absolutely massive at the weight.
He looks a whole weight class bigger.
We saw Tom Watson in the crowd earlier this evening, also a big middleweight. Boubacar Balde certainly fitting that mold.
Very cagey start here, both guys gauging their hands.
Well, both guys clearly respecting each other's power. They know they're both knockout punchers.
Oh, good kick from Balde to close the distance. Bostwick looking for the body lock now. Good head position for him as well.
Bostwick turning his man onto the cage. Getting in Balde's face right from the off is Jake Bostwick. Applying the pressure up against the fence. We saw a little bit more grappling than usual from Jake Bostwick last time out.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you got to say, I know we sort of said that we wanted these guys to stand and trade, but I'm sure Jake Bostwick has looked at this and said, well, you know what? Even if it's a bit 50-50 on the feet, I don't think it is elsewhere. And that's clearly the game plan he is putting into action.
Boubacar Balde taking instruction from his corner team.
Nice route to pick the leg up and using that to change the angle. Good work from Bostwick on that takedown. Opportunistic striking as well in the scramble there.
Keeping Balde honest with a few big bombs there is Jake Bostwick, taking the Frenchman over to his corner. Jake Bostwick's father amongst the corner team over there.
Good strong pummel from the Frenchman, regaining that underhook, a bit more of a neutral 50-50 position here now.
People often forget with Jake Bostwick, he's had over 20 pro MMA fights, kickboxing fights as well. Still only 24 years old, Josh.
Yeah, a lot of experience, young, and showing absolutely no sign of slowing down. In fact, you know, we said he's started to mature now as he's coming through, and you know, he's really starting to hit a peak here in his mid to late 20s.
Well, if you look at Bostwick's early fights, he was very wild. He had the youthful aggression, if you want to call it that. He just wanted to go in there and swing and take people's heads off. Yeah, when you reach a certain level, though, doesn't always work.
No, the upper body strength we've seen from Jake Bostwick coming in useful here as he tries to keep Boubacar Balde backed up against the fence here. Nice body shots.
Able to generate an incredible amount of power even with a short distance.
Yeah, I mean, that's good technique. He just torques, moves his hip, really gets the rotation of his whole body. The arm's doing very little, it's just creating that frame, and the hip is driving through with the whole strike.
Currently training at Team Titan and the Double K Gym, a renowned Thai boxing gym. Adding some technique to the raw power of Jake Bostwick.
Yeah, Balde looking to try and connect, and he's got a grip around both legs here to pull the base of Bostwick out from underneath him, but Bostwick immediately back up to his feet.
Balde with the knees.
Push his head down. Head down, type right knee to the front.
Bostwick fighting for position here. Balde again taking his man down. Bostwick again right back up though.
Yeah, good fundamentals from Jake Bostwick, immediately posting back to his feet, doing it quick enough as well that he wasn't going to take any short shots on the way back up. Balde trying to get a takedown, but just can't quite stay tight enough. It allows Bostwick to get his hip back just enough to drop the weight on the head of the Frenchman, and these are good elbows.
Big elbows here from Jake Bostwick. Doesn't have too much room to work here.
Yeah, just trying to control the back of the head, and nice wrestling from Bostwick. Gripping that ankle, using it to turn him. Immediately, Balde back to his knees. He can shock his way out the back here if he's careful. There's no control of the hips from Bostwick.
Big, short, chopping punches. Doing some damage at the end of that first round for Jake Bostwick.
Yeah, very different first round than we perhaps suspected might happen. Both guys clearly respecting the power the other possesses and choosing to spend most of that first round locked up against the cage. Both guys had their moments, both guys had their periods of aggression. Let's have a look at some of the replays.
Nice leg kick there from Balde. Knee to the chest to follow up. There's a takedown from Bostwick, immediately taking the back of his opponent.
Yeah, Bostwick chained his takedown attempts very nicely together there, and here we see a couple of shots.
We were talking about the torque on those short punches, Josh.
This
Big,
again was lovely wrestling from
shots
Bostwick.
With such a short space.
On balance, perhaps a bit better work done from Jake Bostwick in that first round, but it was very, very tight indeed.
Referee Rich Mitchell just calling time while we dry off the cage. A bit of excess water there in the corner of Boubacar Balde. Fighter safety, the #1 concern here at Cage Warriors. All fighters this evening cleared by Safe MMA, working for a safer UK MMA. Jake Bostwick, Boubacar Balde. Second of 3 5-minute rounds if they need them here at Cage Warriors 64 at the Kentish Town Forum.
Interesting to see how these long, prolonged periods of grappling take away from the punching power of either of these two gentlemen.
And now they're throwing leather. This is what we expected to see.
Oh, good
but
work.
Balde changing levels and getting the takedown.
Yeah, good work in on that takedown immediately, though. Bostwick back to his feet again.
Boubacar Balde, nice head position. Bostwick able to switch things around though. Bostwick in a dominant position on the cage now, searching for a takedown perhaps. Looking to take Balde's base out from under him. Bostwick applying the pressure up against the cage here at Cage Warriors 64. Sponsored tonight by LondonFightStore.com and IrishMMA.com. Please do check out our sponsors online. Don't forget to join in the conversation on social media at Cage Warriors on Twitter. www.facebook.com/Cage Warriors. Big slam from Jake Bostwick.
Yeah, some aggressive wrestling exchanges from these two in the clinch, but Bostwick getting the better of that one and earning himself a good top position here. Very heavy on top of Balde, and you can see he's going to use that left instep to pry his other leg free. You can bet the Frenchman's going to buck and roll in the process, though, and we might have another scramble here.
A lot of Bostwick's size in his back and shoulders. Must be like having a grand piano on top of you in the mount there.
Oh, and Bostwick manages to stabilize the mount. You can see immediately getting his hips up really high, right up onto the chest. That's going to make it very difficult for Balde to escape this, and tucking his feet as well. Lovely awareness in stabilizing that position from Bostwick.
You know, Bostwick was kind of making jokes at the weigh-ins this week about his ground game being his weakness, but every time we've seen him of late, we've seen 1 or 2 new tricks added, and just a little bit of fundamentals like that really gives you the confidence that he's doing everything right to work on the areas of his game that need that little bit of extra assistance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this mount position, what you can't do is sit with your hips over the middle of your opponents. That's where their bridge is most powerful, their escapes are most powerful. You've either got to be really low grinding into them or really high trying to isolate their arms. You saw immediately Bostwick got to the mount, jumped high. Now he's had the awareness to vacate that position, go to a strong side control. We said he's maturing every fight. This is evidence of that.
Lots available to Jake Bostwick here from his side control position. He's got a strong base here, he can drop those elbows. Looking to create a little bit of space here is Bostwick. Boubacar Balde trying to fight the position, ends up surrendering mount again.
And here we see the exact opposite. He's gone to mount, he's immediately gone low, grapevine the legs and dropping his hip pressure in. Now he goes high. I'm really impressed.
Great stuff from Jake Bostwick.
Really impressed with the improving groundwork of Jake Bostwick here. I think perhaps that huge muscle mass of Boubacar Balde is perhaps starting to wear him down a little now.
It's a great physique to have if you're in a fight that's lasting just 2 minutes, but Jake Bostwick turning up the tempo here.
Oh, and just a little bit too eager on that flurry for the finish. And he's got some defensive work to do now.
Balde wasting no time trying to pass that guard. Balde looking to rain some shots down here possibly. Bostwick keeping the half guard closed, keeping his man in nice and tight. Balde looking to free those arms, posture up and create some leverage. Nice elbow straight down the middle there, and I think that's cut Jake Bostwick.
Yeah, a lot of blood coming from the forehead of Jake Bostwick now.
Huge elbows from Boubacar Balde.
He's trying to get his payback in. Bostwick is doing everything he can to defend, but
Jake Bostwick wearing a crimson mask here.
Wow, that is vicious ground and pound from Balde once he was able to get a bit more of a dominant position.
A fast and furious finish to that second round from Boubacar Balde. He's cut Jake Bostwick. And Josh, as you said, how much did that final flurry take out of him? Let's go back and take a look at some of the action now from the second round. Nice leg kick there from Bostwick on the way in.
Let's have a look at some of the...
Exchange from early on in the round there. Balde using the strikes to set up that takedown.
Yeah, big takedown
slam from Jake Bostwick.
And this is where he managed to go to work really well. Some great work in this mount position, but a lot of those shots not necessarily finding their way through. You can see just a little over-eager falling off the top. And then when Balde got his chance for payback, wow, did he take it.
As our fans at home are seeing these replays, the doctor is checking the cut on Jake Bostwick. Referee Rich Mitchell asking for the doctor to come in and check that cut.
Well, I think we've seen perhaps why both guys wanted this fight on the floor. They know if they get a top position and the chance to land ground and pound, they're going to be able to do some damage, but Balde definitely getting the better of Bostwick at the end of that second round.
And again, I want him wiped down as well. Referee Rich Mitchell having to call time to get that cage wiped down.
I mean, Balde's crew basically just dragged him over to their corner and said, look, you know, stop acting tired, you're in this. They are immensely fired up for this and a little bit wayward with the water, buying their man a bit more time to rest. It's a bit sneaky.
Let's go. Whoa. Let's go.
It's like the old kicking over of the ice bucket on boxing and kickboxing shows. Oldest trick in the book. Third and final round here. Cage Warriors 64. Jake Brutal Bostwick. Boubacar Blackout Balde. 3 rounds in the middleweight division. We've had 2 great ones so far. Big leg kick. And Balde acknowledges that one. And swinging. Bostwick dropping the hammer with the left hand. Boubacar Balde with a desperation takedown, Josh.
Yeah, and that scramble was phenomenal, and immediately the cut has opened up on the head of Jake Bostwick.
That blood running into the eye of Jake Bostwick.
Wow,
that cut could really cause problems here, Josh.
Yeah, it is significant, to say the least. And Balde, I think, is going to target that with everything he's got. Bostwick scrambling very nicely back to his feet, though. I think we're about to get covered here, Brad.
Media and staff at cage side giving this one a wide berth. The red stuff is raining here at Cage Warriors 64. We have been forced to take refuge behind some towels here at the commentary position. Boubacar Balde driving in, trying to get this single leg takedown. Yeah. Bostwick doing everything right, pushing his opponent's head down, trying to taking away that leverage.
Exactly, trying to stuff the head low. But Balde taking a moment to rest here. Expect a big explosion from him. There he goes, just not quite able.
At this late stage in the fight, Josh, Balde having to pick and choose when he can explode.
Some fantastic scrambles already in this round from these two. Bostwick trying to split his base wide. If he can get it turned sideways, get his hips nice and wide.
Great explosion from Jake Bostwick there, turning his man on the cage. Bostwick now in the driving seat. Nice short right hand from Bostwick, and they're swinging. Balde landed a left that time.
Oh, I'm going to cover it.
Big uppercut from Jake Bostwick here.
Talking everything he can.
They are swinging. And Bostwick stepping back, looking to prop the firefight yet again.
Yeah, we saw what happened when Jake Bostwick stepped inside and unloaded, and he lands again.
Huge punches here from Jake Bostwick. Boubacar Balde answering back in kind.
Good knee on the inside from Balde.
It's a bloodbath here at Cage Warriors 64.
Jake Bostwick earning a good takedown now. Can he maintain this position on the ground? Straight to mount again for the Londoner.
Great work from Jake Bostwick. Stepping straight into that high mount. Bostwick creating some space, dropping the hammer here. Elbows and punches from the Englishman. The crowd here at the Kentish Town Forum coming alive. Jake Bostwick stepping into that high mount.
Bostwick maintaining this position very well.
Stepping over into side control. And that really is a gusher on the head of Jake Bostwick. All fighters blood tested by Safe MMA. This is exactly why, Josh, it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
For mixed martial artists to have the blood test done when we have situations like this. Bostwick stepping back into mount.
Moving to mount. He's got to get that leg over, though. Doesn't want to get caught in no man's land in the middle.
45 seconds left in the third round. Bostwick looking to posture up, swatting at Balde with these punches from mount. An absolute war here at the Kentish Town Forum in our co-main event. Short punches now from Bostwick, 20 seconds left in the round.
Bostwick.
Final 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think Bostwick's just going to see this out here. Really good work.
Looking for the big finish is Jake Bostwick. Creating the space, dropping a series of left hands, and this one is over.
I love the smile on the face from these guys at the end of what was a fantastic fight, and Bostwick fired up and happy with his work in this one.
Jake Bostwick and Boubacar Balde putting in the work. Let's take a look at some of the action from that final round, Josh. Beautiful leg kick from Jake Bostwick there.
And here was where he landed and dropped Balde. Big left hook, that instigated a fantastic scramble with Balde in top position.
Bostwick switching his man back onto the fence there, getting him out of the tight spot. Nice short uppercut there from Jake Bostwick. Fantastic performance from Jake Bostwick and Boubacar Balde. Our judges now rendering their decisions. Scores are being tallied as we speak, as the crowd here in London eagerly anticipates the outcome of that absolute war. Bostwick and Boubacar Balde putting in the work, making a good bid for that fight of the night check.
Yeah, I think they've made a very good case there. I don't think either guy is going to be too disappointed with their performance here tonight. Both had their moments. Again, I'm really impressed with the maturity from Jake Bostwick on the ground. Definitely had the most significant exchange on the feet as well with that left hook. But a lot of good work from the Frenchman, Boubacar Balde.
Right now. Let's go, right now.
And we have our decision. Let's throw it to John Martinez to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 exciting rounds of fighting, we go to the scorecards. One more time, London. Show your love for both of these cage warriors. And all 3 judges scored about the same, 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, Jake Brutal Bostwick.
And a great show of respect there from Boubacar Balde. Fantastic 3-round war between Jake Bostwick and Boubacar Balde. And now it's time for our main event. James Pennington versus Corey Tate.